All right. Welcome back to another episode of the No Instructions Needed podcast. It is your boys Chaps and the Big D here. A little bit more structured this week because we got to do something a little bit more different. We're trying to expand our horizon. But this week we're brought to you by Alpine Pub and Grill. Make sure you guys visit Alpine Pub and Grill, located on the Heart in Prince George. They are absolutely wonderful to work with, so make sure you guys go see them. Big D, how's it going today?
Oh, pretty good, man. Just capping off a nice long weekend, talking with my boy Chaps. It's been a long one. I'm a bit sleepy, but we're gonna do our best to bring the energy today. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I am good. And like I said, we're brought to you by Alpine Pub and Grill, located at 6145 Kelly Road Street, Prince George. Now, let's just get going right off the hop here. Just a quick little catch up. Still Big O missing in transit. Conzi's dead for sure. And yeah, we're gonna keep doing this thing until they rip us off the air or until we hate each other. One of the two will happen, and we're not too sure which one will happen first. So, it's been a weird week. Had the in-laws up for a couple days, so that was lots of fun.
Dean?
Yeah, he was here, 100%. Yeah,
sick.
Yeah, it was a good time. We had lots of fun, and it's always fun having the grandparents up for a weekend, but. Definitely, when you see those bags coming upstairs and they're by the front door, you're like, all right, we've made it. We've made it through another visit. But thank you very much for them for coming up and for the lovely apple trees that they got us. Now we got 2 apple trees. And let me tell you, digging an 18-inch hole, harder than it sounds, Dean. It's harder than it sounds.
How deep?
18 inches. 18 inches deep and whatever. 14 inches wide, something like that.
Okay. That sounds like a bit of a journey.
Yeah, it sucked. So many rocks, kept hitting rocks, hurting my hand. It sucked. So, But yeah, thank you very much for coming up. How was your week? What'd you get up to? Anything fun?
This weekend. Just meeting with friends. Put in a shift with my boy, the Dingus, on Saturday. Started drinking at about 2:00, post noon. And went until about 2:00 in the morning. So it was a day.
Oh,
I was feeling it yesterday. Had lunch with friends, had dinner with other friends. So yeah, surrounded by friends, some good times. Alcohol, had a bit more yesterday. Not enough to get drunk though or anything like that. But definitely feeling it. Definitely gonna go to bed pretty quickly after we're done recording here, and just trying to get back to normal. I've had a few weekends, with all the bachelor parties I've been to, and I've been drinking more than I usually do. I don't drink that much, so it's time to take a little breather for the next little while.
Stacks on stacks on stacks for you lately. I had a bottle of wine a night to myself on this weekend. I don't think that's like a big deal, Like I'm a big boy. Like I think that's fine, right?
Big boy.
Big boy. All right, let's do a quick little sports hit here. Listen, these conference finals for both the NHL and NBA could not have gone worse. Both series, I think 3 of the 4 series right now are 3-0. The
2.
Well,
the
they're
Hurricanes,
all 2-0.
Florida's beating Carolina right now, but it's only 1-0 in Game 3.
Okay, so but if they win, they're up 3-0. So every series is at least 2-0 in both major sports. And it is a complete disaster. The NBA, I guarantee you, is shitting themselves right now. They're like, oh my God, we are going to have Denver, Miami in the final, and it is going to be a ratings disaster. It's going to be worse than when Toronto played in the final for them. So, like, that is not a good situation. They are terrified. And the NHL is like, well, I'll do you one better. We're going to have Las Vegas and Florida, who won't be able to sell out the Stanley Cup final game in our final. So I think the NBA, I think Adam Silver and Gary Bettman are shitting bricks right now.
Dude, they love stick puck in Vegas. What are you talking about? They love it.
Nationally, though, it's a national thing, right?
Yeah, I think Denver's going to get some love in ratings wise. Miami, it's a good story because they're 8th seed. It's not going to be the same as LA, Boston, but
no.
I will say looks like I was wrong about Boston. I thought they're going to make the finals, but a big old but, because you're pumping your arms like a little wiener shit.
What?
No one would have guessed Miami. Come on.
No, but I did like Boston because I don't believe they have a superstar. I said that a long time ago, and it's been proven right. In this series, Jason Tatum has been so bad. Like I don't know if he scored in the fourth quarter yet in this series. I don't think he has.
He definitely has. What are you talking
No,
about? Shut your butt.
In the last game when they started the fourth quarter, he had not scored a point in the fourth quarter yet.
Boom. We'll have to check that. We'll have to check the tickers on that one.
Gary Payton won a championship.
Gary Payton did win a championship. And it looks like my guy, the blue arrow, Jamal Murray, is going to win a championship too.
Yeah, because
Nuggets are great. And I had this guy in my basketball group chat that I got. And after it was like Golden State LA, like game 6. And the guy wrote in the chat, whoever wins this series is winning the championship. And I'm like, you are absolutely out of your mind wrong. I'm like, Denver will destroy either of these teams. I think Golden State would have put up a better fight just because of their shooting, but like LA won because no one on Golden State could defend AD or LeBron. Guess what they have in Denver? People that can guard AD and LeBron. And it's showing, right? But yeah, I'm going Denver. I've been going Denver since jump. Like for personal cheering on, just because Jamal Murray. And I also wouldn't have mind Phoenix winning on CP3, but yeah, Denver and Phoenix were my teams that like I would have liked to see win. I think I might have picked Denver, but yeah, that's.
I think at the start you picked Denver to go. Denver-Boston final, I think, is what you picked.
I think it was something like that, yeah.
Yeah, with Boston going over, though.
Yeah. I might have said Phoenix, but other than that, Denver was down 15 at half. Game 4 is happening right now, and now they're winning.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Denver. I mean, this team's a lot like the Dirk Nowitzki teams for Dallas. And it's funny because Jokic is going to get his crown facing Miami the same way that Dirk got his crown facing Miami all those years ago.
Miami.
Different teams. Eric Spoelstra, Hall of Fame coach. Can't even argue it now.
No, definitely not.
He was before. Remember when he got hired, though? Everyone's like, oh, he's just carrying the water for the boys and stuff. It's like, no, he's a good coach. But yeah, honestly, been a bore. I'm not gonna lie. The conference finals have sucked. Actually, in hockey, they've been okay because you've had triple
all the games are overtime.
Yeah, so that's awesome. But the NBA, it sucked. This has been the biggest letdown with arguably one of the best playoffs I've seen in a long time. So little bit, it's been a little bit disappointing. But we've wasted 8 minutes and 30 seconds, Dean. This episode, we specifically wanted to do something completely different than we've pretty much ever done before. We are going to spend the next umpteenth minutes talking about one thing and one thing only, which will probably lead to like 5 or 10 or 15 other things at the exact same time. So it's going to get messy real quick. We know what's about to happen. If you have not watched Succession, you should probably shut off the podcast now. Come back next
Thanks for listening.
But I would probably stick around because I don't think this is going to last. I think we'll end up getting in there stuff probably by accident. But this is your spoiler alert. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cue the Succession music, which I don't have.
Beep boop, beep boop, beep boop.
All right. Last episode, season 4, episode 9 will go down as an amazing episode for so many reasons. The performance by Roman
Culkin.
Culkin. I didn't want to fuck up his name. It scared the shit out of me.
There's like 4 of them. I think it's Kieran
Culkin. Yeah, but Kieran Culkin is absolutely. There's like a 5-minute scene where he's trying to give a speech, and when he breaks down, to me, it's one of the most heartbreaking things I've ever watched on screen because he's like, I believe he says the words, "Is my dad in there? Is he in there? Can we get him out?" And it's like, oh my god, that got real fast, and then it led to the greatest speech in Succession history, probably. The Kendall Roy eulogy was phenomenal in every aspect of everything. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna give our predictions for how we think the show is gonna end. We're gonna go through some characters, not all of them, because that'll be kind of hard to do. But we're not gonna start with the big banger here. I don't think we can start with there. So we kind of have to actually, don't we? Because that's kind of
Hey,
how
you're
all of a place. Yeah.
you're steering this bus, buddy.
Yeah, you know what? Let's just start with the board members. Okay, what do you think are gonna? Because I don't think that you think that any of the board members are going to be CEO. Am I correct?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. So let's start with the board members. Where's Carl end up? Is Carl still sticking around? Is he a part of Madsen? Like what's going to happen?
No, I think they're all going to be done.
Yeah, me too.
New regime. They're going to be done. Yeah, I don't think any of them are sticking around.
See, I think this is probably why we should actually start with the main topic first, because that will follow everything else into place. But I think if Kendall wins, Frank sticks around, and probably Carl. Hugo. So like if he wins, then like that's it. I think that everyone has to stick around. So yeah, this didn't work that way. We got to go from the top because that will work all the other characters out. This is what I think is going to happen. This is my big prediction. This is who Chapsy Dapsy thinks is going to sit on top of the throne. I believe in my heart of hearts it will be Kendall, and I think it's going to be a battle though. It's not going to be a straight like Kendall easy waltzes to victory. There's a reason why the last episode is an hour and a half long. I think Kendall
is going
to. Is it? I think he's going to be.
Is it an hour and a half?
It's an hour and a half. Yeah.
Oh, it's like a movie. It's like a movie.
Yeah. The creator said it is a movie. It is an actual movie. So there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's not like just a continuation episode. So yeah, we'll start with that. I think the CEO of Waystar is going to be Kendall Roy. What say you, Big D?
Here's my take. None of them.
All right.
So our boy Madsen was charming the incumbent president a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're going to be so busy trying to screw each other over or win, quote unquote, that Madsen's going to pull a full fast one on Shiv, make the deal go through, and either A, head it up himself, find a way to do that, or find an American CEO that is like Stewie or something like that, like someone that we know but hasn't been around for a little bit. And I think they're going to be so focused on each other that they're not going to see it coming.
That is a very, very interesting take. I don't think I have watched prediction show after prediction show and read shit. I don't think I've heard anyone say what you just said. So you don't think if you were to classify other guys, it's an other guy. It is no one. It's not a Jerry or a Carl. It's literally an other guy type idea.
Yeah, it could even be what's her nuts from the other family with the Pierce. Yeah. But the one that the one that heads up that fam.
That's honestly fascinating. So I put out a tweet a couple hours ago, and after watching the season 4 episode 10 trailer that came out, these were the updated odds that I felt comfortable giving. And tell me if you agree. I think Kendall is minus 120. I think Greg is minus 110.
The Greg the leg?
And I have a very good reason for that. Shiv minus 110 for obvious reasons. Madsen plus 500. Tom plus 750. Jerry plus 1500. Roman plus 5,000. He ain't getting it.
Yeah, after that meltdown, no way.
Yeah, and other plus 5,000. So you would be placing your money on the other because you're going like Stewie or somebody from Pierce, maybe the woman who Logan actually named as the succession CEO after he went, the one he was banging for a bit. I can't remember her name.
Oh, the one with the bangs?
With the bangs, yeah. So you're going other. It's the reason why Greg, I think, is a fascinating character because who's been getting close to Madsen on the DL?
Greg.
Who can be a pawn for Madsen? Who's an idiot that will just do whatever you want?
Beautiful idiot. Greg the leg.
And who's American?
True.
So I think in the last episode, he took a gigantic step up. Like this is what I think is going to happen to Greg, because I'm going to get. I know we're not really going in order, but Greg's just on top of mine. I think Greg is going to end up in charge of ATN. He's going to get the whole network, and it's going to be given to him by Madsen, because it's going to be a Kendall Madsen kind of cohorts, and he's going to get ATN.
Okay, so in this scenario that you speak of, would Tom Wamsgans be there, and would he be Tom's boss now in a like ironic flippy floppy kind of thing?
Tom Wasbat is going to be a stay-at-home dad. He is done. He is retiring from the rat race. Him and Shiv get back together. They don't need money. They don't need anything, and they're going to raise a kid as being kind of a recluse type couple.
Very interesting. I never even thought about Greg, to be honest with you. He's just so stupid that like he just kind of flies under the radar. He's the comic relief. Very interesting. But it would be funny to see Greg be Tom's boss, though, after all the poop they've been through.
Wouldn't you watch that series? If they came out with a Tom and Greg series, half an hour, just a half an hour, because those two guys couldn't carry an hour, would you watch it?
Yes.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
They're like the two best characters on the show.
Logan was pretty good, but yeah. I agree. So what's going to happen to Tom in your estimation?
Ooh, Tom was. No one really like overly cares for Tom, and so I think I think that stay-at-home dad is actually a very good call. Or he'll just get canned and maybe do something that's less stressful for him, that he can cope with a bit better and get out of the rat race somewhat, like you said. But yeah, I think whatever happens to Tom will be pretty anticlimactic. It'll just be like collateral damage kind of thing.
Okay, so Shiv, I had Tom and Shiv kind of both sailing off into the sunset after the race. And I'll get to my Madsen appointing Greg ATN leader too, because there's another side to that. But where's Shiv going then? Like, what's happening to the Logan kids? Like, you're saying that they're all gone. So what are they doing? Because they're not just gonna lose the deal and then you don't see anything. Like, what happens to them?
Here's what I think will happen. They'll get the money from the sale, and then they'll just move forward with the purchase of Pierce and do things their way. And there won't be that emotional connection to it anymore. So they'll be able to just work with each other, trust each other, and have a good product.
Okay, so you think that everybody's going to get made whole, kind of a new family, or like a family origin story, essentially, to the next great phase of the Roy name.
Yeah, and I think the blocking the sale and whatnot will just be much ado about nothing, but like then they'll learn something along the way that'll make them better in this new journey, I guess you can say. But yeah, I think they'll be able to like trust each other and work with each other, and coordinate have their different roles and not want to step on each other to get whatever role might be the top one. So, or be co-CEOs, all three of them. I don't know, but they'll probably have the money and take over that company.
So, man, that is absolutely fascinating, because this is where I think is gonna, because now we got to kind of get in the maths, and because kind of how we're talking, right? I think what happens is Kendall gets offered the American CEO role from Madsen after that impressive speech, and he declines it and turns around and buys Gojo and buys Pierce as well, because there's a certain text message that we still haven't seen yet that was sent to him by Stewie in episode 2, or an email. He turns around and he literally buys it all, and he appoints Madsen as the CEO of the whole the whole thing, but he is like the overlord type idea. The Roy family is the overlord. Like, I think they end up kind of like all CEOs, but Kendall's definitely the boss. But all three of them are in charge of Madsen, who controls the whole thing. That's my guess.
So, are you saying that like because of the numbers they released, the value of Gojo will be ripe for the picking?
And Stewie has a bunch of money always lined up, and he's the one that sent Kendall this mysterious email in episode 2 or 3 when they're outside the bar, and it's about potential earnings of certain companies. So that's why I think he flips the script on Madsen. And Madsen's aboard for the ride because he respects him now.
Interesting. Very interesting. You've given this a lot more thought than I have.
Yes, I have given it quite a bit of thought because there's just like something with Kendall has not been off. He's been really good this season. Like he hasn't fucked up anything. And I think that's like the whole point to the Succession story, because I think that this is a Kendall story, whether people want to admit it or not. The series is a Kendall series. It's about Kendall. And I think in this, I think he's really starting to value his family, like his brothers and sisters, and he wants the Roy name to continue. And with him,
yeah, but then he went behind his back to what's his nuts and said there's going to be one crown. And it's him. To
100%. Yeah, I think he's. I think that what did he also say in that he wants to buy Gojo, right? Mm-hmm. So he said it right there that he wants to buy Gojo, and yeah, someone in the 3 have to be in charge. You can't. And he will be the one in charge, but he wants that Roy family legacy to continue. He doesn't want the Madsen family name to be the new one.
Yeah, and like the last few episodes, you could kind of have you can kind of see that it's getting to Roman, like making the impulsive decision about the election, and just kind of like instead of doing what they should be doing, it's more of a what would dad do type of situation, and just going with what he thinks Logan Roy would want him to do in the situation when there's no real way of knowing, obviously, since he's in heaven. So yeah, and then like obviously with the speech and stuff like that, he doesn't have the kind of emotional what's the word I want to use?
Emotional depth, emotional aptitude. He's not emotionally inept to do this.
Emotionally hardened, I guess, too. Like, you can't have a conscience and kind of do the job as kind of what you've seen over the last few years, right?
Yes, and you can't cry at funerals. It shows weakness. Yeah. You can't do stuff like that, and that's what killed him. Eventually, his not wanting to assess his dad's death when it happened literally killed him off as a character, because you knew it was going to catch up to him at some point. Yeah. And the closer they got to that funeral, that you're like, all right, pretty much has to happen here, or it's not going to happen. He's Roman's just going to leech off his brothers and sisters and off the name. He's going to be not a leech. That's not quite fair, but he's going to be involved. But you're definitely not going to. He's going to be the cleaner upper. The guy with the small tasks. They're not going to trust him as much.
Yeah. Plus, he was firing people at will a few episodes ago too. It's just like, just does the first thing that comes to mind, or if anyone crosses them, gets rid of them, kind of thing. So, yeah, he's not going to be it. He ain't it.
No, he doesn't have it. Shiv has it. Shiv could be like
she's if stone cold.
She is, and she's a lot like her dad. So if you tell me at the end of the next episode, you're like, yeah, Madsen deal went through, Shiv's CEO, straight by the numbers, done. I'd be like, yeah, I get it. Or somehow Shiv ends up running the whole thing. I could see that too.
But she's got a baby too.
That's the problem, and it's the series is kind of about how terrible men can be and stuff like that. So that will be an excuse not to put her in charge of anything, right? So,
and she won't want the kid to have a childhood like she did. Blah bitty blah. Yeah. We'll be there. Not reduced role type dealio. Tommy Wom's gams there too.
I think that speech that Kendall gave also woke her up maybe a little bit too. Even though after she still attended like the reception and was still talking to the president and stuff like that, I think that speech that Kendall gave meant a lot to everyone in the crowd, and like it was perfect. Like it cemented him as the front runner for CEO from the Roy side.
You know what could also happen? This just came to mind.
I love it.
Mencken might lose the election after they recount.
Yeah.
Because they still haven't they're still on the screens, they're talking about recounts and stuff like that, right? So, they could end up having him not be president, and then Jimenez doing it and just pushing the deal through, kind of thing.
That would be fascinating. That's like an alternate world I want to live in. Jimenez comes in, pushes the deal through, or blocks it because Shiv lied about talking to them, right? So she flat out lied about talking to the Jimenez group about, would you block the deal? Like, what is there a deal here for us type idea? And they go with Kendall, and he wins either way. Like you could make the argument that he's trying to set himself up to win in all three scenarios. Mattson takes over, Kendall's American CEO. Jimenez wins. They block the deal for Kendall, and same thing with Minkin too.
There's so many things that can happen in this 90 minutes next Sunday.
Okay, so what did you say is going to happen to Greg? Because you didn't really. I said Greg is going to take over as like ATN head. Like, what do you think Greg is going to be?
I think it'll be inconsequential whatever happens to Greg. He'll have the same job, or he'll keep sucking up like he always does. I don't see much upward mobility for him.
I think that I literally think there's an outside chance he ends up as the American CEO. Like he's
got no EXP.
Yeah, but he doesn't have any EXP for anything at any point. Like he's oh man, I got some betting odds for Succession. This is amazing. Do you want to know what they are? From Vissen. It's a radio station in on XM. Number one, best odds for what happens is company gets sold, and then Roman Roy is plus 250 to take over as CEO. Kendall's plus 3. Oh, this is an old one. This is like 3 weeks ago. Yeah, that don't matter anymore.
Why do you give me why do you give me updated odds, Daps?
Because I can't find them.
Okay.
So you think that the whole Greg and Tom storyline is just going to end up as like a footnote in the end? Like it won't have any consequences to anything?
Not really. I think they're still going to be boys. Maybe a godfather.
I could see that.
Maybe a designation of godfather of the child.
Yeah. Leveraged himself right in the godfather role and front third or whatever the fuck it was on his hand on the casket.
Yeah. He's such a little suck.
That's yeah, you're right. He's such a dweeb. So tall too. Like you don't notice how tall Greg is until you watch it. Like until you see him next to someone, you're like, oh my god, you're like 7'4".
Well, Tom Wambsgans, I'm pretty sure like the actor that plays him is like 6'3", and like he towers over Tom. I think he's like 6'7".
He's a big boy. He is a big boy. I'm trying to find updated odds for this, but I don't think I'm gonna get any. So we got the CEOs. He's 6'7".
Yeah,
that's got to be one of the tallest actors out there. Like,
yeah, I saw something that he used to lie about his height and say that he was smaller because like it's tough for someone that tall to get a role.
Man, that is wild to me that he's that tall. Like, Vince Vaughn's probably what, like 6'4", and you see him and he's like the biggest guy to ever move, and this guy's way taller.
Yeah, actors aren't usually tall or that tall.
No, they're not at all. Huh. All right. I don't think there's anyone else to really talk about. Like, I think Connor will be absolutely nothing. Like
he'll just like do some charity work in like some third world country or something and leave.
So in your view, is Mencken going to win presidency? Yes or no?
Probably, but I think there's a chance he might not.
All right. So what you're saying is like, do you think no matter what, if he wins or loses, the deal gets pushed through?
Yes.
And then Mattson fucks over Shiv. And you think all that's going to be pretty quick in the episode because the rest of it's going to be the Roys starting up the other company? Or do you think
I
that'll
think
just
no.
be
I think
last-
that can be like the last 10 minutes kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think that will make up the bulk of it, like the preamble, the build up, and then the climax.
Oh, I hope it's as good as of a reveal as when we found out that Tom was the one that sent the message to Logan, where he just comes up and puts like his hand, or Logan puts his hand on Tom. You're like, oh, that motherfucker is the motherfucker.
I hope it's as good as the reveal in the new season of Dexter, where she uses Google to find out that he is actually the Bay Harbor Butcher.
Think about how good Succession is compared to how bad Dexter is. Like, that is wild how good that show is.
Yeah, it's so good. Even like yesterday, I was like, I was really tired. I had a few drinks at my buddy's house, and I got back home, and I was watching, and I wasn't like into it just because I was just super tired. But even that, when like the Roman scene went down, I was like, "Oh, this is intense, my brother."
That was nuts. So I have found updated rankings now.
Okay, sock it to me, baby.
And Kendall Roy is minus 550. That is massive. Second place is Lucas Matson at plus 500.
Oh shit.
Co-CEOs plus 1,000. Roman plus 1,200. Shiv, this is surprising. Shiv is plus 3,000. She has the
That's
same
the baby
odds.
factor. It's a baby factor.
Yeah, I think you're right. And she has the same odds as Frank, which would make some sense too. Matson getting to the board and getting one of those guys. Tom Wobsgat plus 5,000. Carl plus 5,000. Caroline and Greg both plus 1,000 or 10,000, sorry, plus 10,000. And then Jerry and Connor both plus 25,000. Man, so I'm way off on Greg. Like, if this is what the sports book thinks, like they know shit. Like I am. So that is, Greg ain't winning it. No way.
Greg the leg.
That's fucking crazy.
Hey, you never know, Chaz. You never know.
No, it looks like Kendall's gonna walk away. Doesn't mean he wins the whole thing, but it looks like he's getting CEO. So
He's gonna be top dog.
100%. All right, so that's what we think. I think I don't really
Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, give us your thoughts. We'll post this up on YouTube and it'll be everywhere else too. But realistically, whatever happens, it's going to end. The last scene will end with Kendall because it has to, unless he dies or something. And it'll end with Kendall on a balcony overlooking the city. And somehow, some way, his siblings will be with him because it won't just be him anymore. It will be a family. And that is kind of drone out, looks over the city, fade to black. That's my last scene, Big D. What do you think? What are you going with the last scene of Succession? I'll add one more to mine just so you can think about it a bit more. So as the camera is zooming out to reveal Shiv and Roman, Logan's voice is narrating some sort of Shakespearean line, and then it fades to black.
Okay, to parlay on my previous prediction, I'm gonna say Kendall walks into a boardroom at Pierce, and Roman and Shiv are sitting down already in the boardroom at the meeting, and then they say something like, "You guys ready?" And then it'll be over.
Nice. That'd give me shivers. That'd be good. That'd be really, really good too. Just walks in and says, "All right, well, let's fuck off then," and then it ends because that's what his dad used to say. That's great. I mean, that's probably. I think you're a lot closer to me. Mine is a lot more. Holy fuck! How are they going to do that in an hour and a half? I'm expecting big things.
We're Chaps's version is what's his nuts? No, the Justice League.
Oh, Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder's Justice League. 4 hours.
4-part series. Yeah, 100%. All an hour and 10 minutes, hour 15 minutes. It wouldn't be that hard to get to mine where he owns everything because it's already started. He's already
That starts
started that
Justice
shit.
League cut. The
Just
Snyder
all
cut,
black and
4
white,
hours long.
Yeah, fuck yeah. And it's all just a constant loop of Logan saying, well, why don't you fuck off? Why don't you fuck off? Why don't you fuck off for 4 hours? All right, make sure you guys visit Alpine Pub and Grill located in Prince George, BC at 6145 Kelly Road Street, Prince George. Big D, I think we're going to call it. I think we kind of accomplished what we wanted to accomplish. Unless there's anything else you want to talk about.
No, I think we're good. We'll keep this one short but sweet. This was kind of the plan we had to talk about Succession series finale, and we have accomplished our mission. Plus, I don't think anyone has to edit this.
No.
Namely
No way.
you, because we've been pretty spot on today, so we can just upload this bad boy and get a good night's sleep.
Yeah, that's true. Well, thank you again for downloading. Thank you for listening. If you have not watched Succession, well, we told you to stop like 100 fucking times. And be a friend, tell a friend. See you next week.
Peace.